Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Good to see you. People in the chat already, and they've recruited friends. We love it when we have friends of long-time players, returning players, new players who found us just through the magic of the internet. We're glad to have you all here this week. Feeling a bit groggy, up late watching the Super Bowl last night. Not easy in this time zone. Anyone else watch it? It wasn't a particularly good game. Bit one-sided. Let's have a look at the rounds we've got coming up this evening. Here they are. Round one, general knowledge, as always, getting things started nice and traditional. Round two, take a closer look, returning round. Round three, we've got odd drug out. Round four, we've got another emoji round. Round five, superb owl. I mean, that's not right. Round six. Round six is Super Bowl. Just got that right. Round seven, momentary matrimony. And round eight, another closing round of general knowledge, as always. So yeah, way ahead of you on the old Super Bowl pun. Yeah, we had to include a bit of that this week. Yeah, Tom Brady winning another Super Bowl. Hooray! Just what everyone wanted to see. All right. So we're only a couple of minutes past the hour. I usually try to leave it a bit to give everyone a chance to get on the stream. So for anyone joining us for the first time this evening, welcome. And I'll just explain how it works quickly. You'll follow along. It's possible to play just on one device if you have the little screen of the video, or you can just play on two devices. You fill in the forms as I ask you the questions, and your answers are not locked in until you hit submit at the end of each round. So if question one in any given round, you're like, oh, I'm not quite sure, I'll think about that a bit more later, you can still keep playing along, answering the rest, go back and change your answers or think about it a bit more at the end of the round before you hit submit. So submit will be there after question 5 in each round. Rounds where there are pictures involved, either you have to choose a picture or sometimes we have rounds where you draw on pictures. Any of those, you might have to do a capture when you hit in order to hit submit. Other than that, in general, yeah, try not to take too long at the ends of rounds so we can keep things moving. In general, we usually give about 2 or 3 minutes after I finish reading the last question to get your answers in. All right, so without any further ado, I think we'll just begin round one. Anyone who joins us late, they can just I can repeat the questions for them right at the end. So round one is a round of general knowledge. And our first question, Andy Jassy will replace Jeff Bezos as Amazon CEO later this year. What professional sports team is Jassy a minority owner of? Is it the Seattle Seahawks, the Seattle Mariners, the Seattle Kraken, or the Oklahoma City Thunder? Seahawks, Mariners, Kraken, or Thunder? All right. Plenty of people in the chat as well. Good to see you all. All right, question 2. Last week, social media influencer Julia Rose vandalized the Hollywood sign. What did she make it say? So was that Holly Woo, Holly Poop, Hell World, or Holly Boob? So what was the Hollywood sign altered to say last week? Question 3. What is the nickname of the recently discovered smallest reptile and possibly smallest vertebrate in the world? Is it the microgecko, the nanochameleon, the picoskink, or the femtoiguana? So, what is the nickname of the recently discovered smallest reptile in the world? Microgecko, nanochameleon, picoskink, or femtoiguana? Question 4. How did convicts on Wyoming's death row earn stays of execution in 1911? Was it by playing baseball, by live nude modeling? Was it brewing and distilling alcohol, or were they executing other convicts? So, which of those activities did death row convicts in Wyoming take part in order to extend the period of time between now and when they were executed themselves? Last question of this round. Under a treaty with Italy, the tiny Republic of San Marino is forbidden from cultivating which crop? San Marino, of course, is an enclave within Italy. It's fully surrounded by Italy. So are they forbidden from cultivating tomatoes, tobacco, wheat, or artichokes? Tomatoes, tobacco, wheat, or artichokes. Which of those are San Marino forbidden from growing by international treaty? All right. So for anyone who's just joining us, let's run through these round one questions one more time. It's in quick. Number 1, Andy Jassy will replace Jeff Bezos as Amazon CEO later this year. What professional sports team is Jassy a minority owner of? And we've got to choose from the Seattle Seahawks, the Seattle Mariners, the Seattle Kraken, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think we'll just read the answers. Just read the questions. I mean, not the answers. You got the answers on your form. So then question 2. Last week, social media influencer Julia Rose vandalized the Hollywood sign. What did she make it say? Question 3. What is the nickname of the recently discovered smallest reptile and possibly smallest vertebrate in the world? Question 4. How did convicts on Wyoming's death row earn stays of execution in 1911? And question 5. Under a treaty with Italy, the tiny Republic of San Marino is forbidden from cultivating which crop? So some pretty esoteric stuff in our opening round of general knowledge. Some of these are things you might have heard in the news. Others are a bit more obscure. But let's get those answers in. Yeah, we were up. I was up until about 6, 7 a.m. Watching the Super Bowl. Each year we get the stream up and then we'll just leave it running because generally whoever's streaming it, not that I ever would watch an illegal stream. This is all hypothetically. This is I'm describing a hypothetical scenario, and I don't encourage anyone to do this. But maybe someone streaming the Super Bowl might just leave the stream running, and you just see whatever they're showing on whatever network has the Super Bowl that year. Last year it was The Masked Singer. This year it was The Equalizer, I think. Some like procedural show with Queen Latifah. Did everyone get all of those questions? Anyone need anything else said again? We have them up on the screen for quite a while, so I think you've probably heard all the questions by now. Do we have anyone in who is on the other side of the Atlantic in the right time zone? I think we've mostly just got people in Europe in. We've on occasion run this quiz at a different time that's more handy for an American audience, but not this week. Remember to hit enter once you've chosen your 5 answers. They're not locked in until you hit enter, but also they're not submitted until you hit enter. So in order for us to get everyone into the scoreboards, you have to hit that enter button. I think we're just waiting on a couple of teams now. Yeah, and we've got a couple of very similarly named teams. So it might have just been someone going through the enter your team name page twice. Team Love Boat they're the same team. They forgot their name. Okay, no problem. Dreamboat Love Boat. Just good to be sure. Now that we know that, you can alternate that back and forth between those names if you like. They're going to be the Dreamboats. Lovely jubbly. Okay, so we're good to go then. Let's have a look at the answers for round 1. So first, we heard about Jeff Bezos' replacement, Andy Jassy. So he is a part owner of the youngest professional sports team in America's Big 4 leagues, the Seattle Kraken. They are yet to play a game. They'll take to the ice for the first time later this year at the beginning of the NHL's 2021-2022 season, which I just think that's a cool name. I think a lot of people were not happy with that name. I think it's cool. All right. Next one, we've got question 2. Julia Rose used blankets to make the sign read "Holy Boob" in an act of protest over Instagram's "No Female Nipples" policy. I think was the reason behind that. Question 3. Discovered in Madagascar, the adult male nanochameleon, Propecia nana, is a mere 13.5 millimeters from tip to tail. I think they already had a small chameleon called the micro chameleon. So for an even smaller one, they went with nano. Then number 4, in 1910 to 1911, inmates at the Wyoming State Penitentiary were made to play for the prison's baseball team with promises of reduced sentences or stays of execution for victories and threats of punishment for losses. Prison wardens ran an illegal gambling ring betting on their games. The Wyoming State Penitentiary All-Stars went undefeated before the racket was rumbled. And finally, As part of an international friendship treaty with Italy, San Marino refrains from growing tobacco and also from manufacturing certain products. In return, Italy provides the landlocked microstate with an annual stipend of 40 tons of tobacco, 20 tons of cigarettes, and 250 tons of sea salt. All right, so let's see how the scoreboard sits after that one. Chapstags in the lead, 4 points. Great work there. And we have the Van Goghs, Segway Chimp, and the Dreamboats all tied in second place on 3. Aloha Mate and Cormax Enterprises 2 points. Cat Flaps 1 point. So much no points in that first round. So all over the map there. Some really great ones, some less great rounds there. Some tricky questions, I think, as round one go. That was a pretty tough one. So well done to the Chapstags, doing extremely well there. Let's see how that stands you for the rest of the quiz. So round two, take a closer look. We've run this round before. We just are going to show you an extremely zoomed in photo. You have to tell us what it's a picture of. So there's the first one. All right, let's see number 2. All right, number 3. So this one, you just type your answers in. Number 4. And the last one. So what are these zoomed in pictures? Get your guesses, type in your guesses. I think we can cycle them around just in a little screen here. Make sure it's not covering my face. This, yeah, we'll see. It's always hard to predict. So Jessica does most of the image selection with these ones, and she always tests them out on me. And last time we did it, basically all the ones that I got easily, no one could get, and all the ones that I thought were really hard, everyone got. So I think I just got weird eyes. Sometimes you got to think like, oh, I really think it's that, but maybe I should second guess myself. Not that I'm saying second guess yourself. All right. I think we've got about half the teams in, so let's get the rest of them submitted. I did some good, made up some chips and dip last night. Guacamole, queso. Can we show number 1 again? Can you get number 1 up on screen, please, Jessica? So it's a lot of white. Take from that what you will. Think about things that are white. All right. So that's one big sporting event down this year. In theory, we're supposed to have the Euros and the Olympics this year. But we'll have to see if they actually happen. They had like a third of the seats full at the Super Bowl yesterday, which just seems nuts to me. Doesn't seem particularly safe. Oh, just minimize the stream. Whoops. Yeah, so you might, because there are pictures. Oh, no, there are no pictures in the form, so it should be fine. Shouldn't have to do any captures on this one. Yeah, maybe for the next time we do this, I'll invest in a macro lens. Take some of my own pics. All right, so I think everyone got their answers in. So let's take a look. Let's take a step back and see the whole images. Okay, first up, it's coconut. Yeah, it's white, it's wet, crystally. You could be forgiven for thinking it was like ice or snow or something, but it was a coconut. Next one, it's worked metal of some kind. Not easy to really get a sense of scale here. If we zoom out, it's a bottle cap, like off of a beer or something. Next up, mottled, and it's a quail's egg. Little pattern on there. Jessica showed me that one. I thought it was like cheese on toast or something. Next one. Looks like it could be some buildings or something, but obviously we know it's really zoomed in. So yes, tire. Oh right, so it's great. There are two spellings of tire, which I did not account for on the auto grader. I should have seen that one coming, I guess, but that's live TV for you. And last one, it's a nose of some kind. It's an elephant's nose, so elephant or trunk or something would have got you the point there. Yeah, I first saw that. I thought it was a pig. It's kind of like a pig's nose, just on a hose. All right, so let's see how everyone did in that one. Yeah, we're not penalizing one or other spellings of tire, though. Don't worry. All right, so yeah, I think people did a bit better in that round than they did in the first one. The Van Goghs have managed to wrestle their way into first place. 8 points. They had a perfect round there. We will double check the spellings. Oh, there. And behind them, oh wait, no, Chapstag's still in first. We just hadn't ordered. Chapstag's just still in first. You also got a perfect round. 1 point behind the Van Goghs. Then the Dreamboat. Then Aloha Mate and Segway Chimp tied. So Much Snow and Cat Flaps on 4 and Cormax Enterprises on 3. So Chapstag's holding on to their lead. Just 1 point in it for now. Moving on to round 3, Odd Drugs Out. Here we've got lists, sets of drugs associated with fiction, TV, film, books. You've got to choose the odd drug out from each set, basically. You'll get it once I read examples. So the first one, well, this is not fiction, this is journalism. Which of these is not mentioned by name in Hunter S. Thompson's famous Serious Drug Collection from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? Like it's kind of semi-fictional, like gonzo journalism. So the options are 75 pellets of mescaline, 4 orange plastic canisters of Quaaludes, a salt shaker full of cocaine, and a pint of raw ether. So, which of those is not mentioned in, the scene from the book and from the movie adaptation where he lists all the drugs that he has in the trunk for his drive to Vegas? So, which one is not included, which is the odd one out? All right, next up. Which of these is not a street name for the fictional drug cake from Brass Eye? So Brass Eye was like the spoof news program from years ago. And the options there are Clarky Cats, Chronic Basildon Donuts, Ponce on the Heath, and Russell Dust. So Clarky Cats, Chronic Basildon Donuts, Ponce on the Heath, and Russell Dust. Which of those is not a street name for the fictional drug cake? Cake is a made-up drug. All right, question 3. Which of these is not mentioned as one of the available additives in Moloko Plus in A Clockwork Orange? So this is in both the novel and the movie. So the list is Drencrom, Velocet, Synthmesk, and Lysogil. Drencrom, Velocet, Synthmesk, and Lysogil. Which one is not a real, well, I mean, none of they're all made up words, but which of them is not mentioned in A Clockwork Orange? All right. Which of these is not a drug, fictional or otherwise, referenced in Withnail and I? So, cult classic movie. Is it the Camberwell Carrot, Sermontil 50, High Barnet Sugar Cubes, or phenodihydrochloride Benzolex? So, which of those is not a drug referenced in Withnail and I? And the last one. Which drug do we not see consumed on screen in Pulp Fiction? Is it alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, or heroin? Which of those drugs do we not see consumed on screen in Pulp Fiction? So this one definitely covers a range of like very well known movies to maybe stuff that's a little bit more obscure. I feel like I may have unintentionally kind of gone uh, a bit of an advantage to our British players on this one. Just with the Brass Eye and the Withnail and I. I'm saying about my weird eyes. I just noticed the nickname that Jessica's given me. Yeah, and you can see in the chat, Jessica will drop little helpful messages for you from time to time. So if you have any issues with the forms and how they're submitting, if you like accidentally close something and you need to get back to the round that we're currently on, you can follow that link there in the chat, triviamystery.com/forms, where you'll be able to catch up to whichever round we're currently on. So for some of these, I had to come up with fake drug names, kind of like mimicking the style of the piece of media. That was fun. So just waiting on 2 teams now, guys. Let's get those in. All right. So I think just one team. Okay, everyone is in. Okay, so let's run through the answers. So first up, we had Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So we do. So Thompson does mention a whole galaxy of multicolored uppers, downers, screamers, and laughers, but he doesn't specify what the pills are. So Quaaludes was the answer there. There may well have been Quaaludes in that pill collection, but he doesn't mention them by name. He does mention his 75 pellets of mescaline, his salt shaker full of cocaine, and a pint of raw ether there. Next up was Brass Eye. Maybe people remember this one. So Clarky Cats was one of the nonsense names that they use in the undercover reporter segment of the episode in reference to an unspecified drug. The other 3 were all names read out by the various celebrities and politicians who were duped into raising awareness of cake. Next, we had, so the answer there was Clarky Cats. Lysogil was the odd drug out there. The other 3 all mentioned in Alex's description of the milk bar in the novel, and they actually appear on the walls of the milk bar in the film. High Barnet sugar cubes were the red herring. No such drug appears in Withnail and I, or anywhere else for that matter. And finally, in Pulp Fiction, we see Vincent pour himself a glass of a spirit, presumably whiskey or bourbon, and take a sip when he arrives at Mia's apartment to pick her up. We see him shoot up heroin on the way over, and we see Mia snort plenty of cocaine and mistakenly snort some of Vincent's heroin. So, although Vincent does talk to Jules about smoking weed in Amsterdam, we don't see anyone actually smoke weed on screen. So, that was the answer. So, let's see how everyone did there. So, a range of scores on that round, and Chapstags maintaining the lead, still 1 point in it, 13 up to 12 over the Van Goghs. Then they've kind of separated themselves from the pack. Aloha Mate and the Dreamboats tied in 3rd place, 9 points each. Then we've got Segway Chimp on 8, Cat Flaps on 6, Cormax and Enterprises and So Much Snow tied on 5 points. So, still anything can happen still. We're still early days. No one's getting too far away. But those 2, keep an eye on those top 2 teams. Make sure they don't run away with it. All right, so round 4 is our emoji round. We've done an emoji round with titles of books before. This time it's titles of movies. And marijuana is used in Pulp Fiction. Okay, well, I think we're gonna have to amend the scores for that in the interval. There's an interval after this round, so we'll amend the scores. I think we'll just give everyone a point for that question because that's on me. All right, so round 4 should have been keeping an eye on the background characters. All right, so question 4, we've got this time it's movie titles. And because it's Black History Month, last week we did Moments in Black Sport. This time it's Black Cinema, American Black Cinema. So most of these are either from Black directors or just like important in black cinema in general. So we'll give you the emojis and you have to give us the title of the movie. So let's see the first set of emojis. Okay, so you've got the emojis there. You need to use those to work out what the movie is. All right, next one. All right, so we've got some emojis. You need to tell us what movie those emojis represent. All right, next one, number 3. Okay, number 4. And the last one here. All right, so those are your 5 sets of emojis. Can you get 5 movie titles from them? Let's run through them one more time, start from the beginning. So movie 1, movie 2, movie 3, movie 4, and movie 5. All right, so as usual, we're going to be taking a short interval, give you time to think, get your answers in after round 4. So we'll go through the answers when we get back in a minute or two. And yeah, we will amend the scores to make sure everyone gets a point for that Pulp Fiction one. My bad on that one, guys. But luckily, we've got fact checkers in the audience. All right, so I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. All right, and we're back. I think we're still waiting on 2 or 3 teams. So hit submit on those answers there. Most of these you can most of them are pretty just say what you see. Catchphrase. You remember catchphrase? Those of you who would have watched catchphrase. Say what you see. That was the catchphrase on catchphrase. Most of them that will work. I think pretty much all of them that should work. One of them's maybe a bit more lateral. I guess if you haven't heard of the movies, that makes it a bit more difficult. Okay, everyone's got their answers in though, so let's have a look at the emojis and we'll say what each one represents. So first up, it was Superfly, which could refer to the 1972 blaxploitation classic or the 2018 remake. So superhero and a fly. Next, 5 Drops of Blood. It's The Five Bloods, Spike Lee's 2020 war drama. Next up was Oscar-winning coming-of-age tale Moonlight from director Barry Jenkins. The moon and a light bulb. Piece of candy and a man's face. It's Candyman, the 1992 slasher horror. It's currently being rebooted by Jordan Peele. And last up was the MCU mega smash hit Black Panther, starring the late Chadwick Boseman. So, black circle and a leopard or jaguar, which is the types of big cat commonly known as panthers. All right, so those of you who got an extra point from my Pulp Fiction fuck up will have had that added by now as well. And also we've added up the points from this last round. I think everyone did pretty well there. Chatstag's still in the lead, 17 points. The Van Goghs, 16. The Dreamboats, 14. So very close at the top. Aloha Mate just behind, tied with Segway Chimp, 13. So those top 5 teams, 4 points in it between them. So I think those are the ones to watch going forward. Cat Flaps, So Much Snow, and Cormax Enterprises also all very close to one another, 11, 10, and 9. So with half the quiz left to go, anyone can still win. Let's move on to round 5, Superb Owl. So it's a fun little pun on Super Bowl. We've done rounds like this before. You'll have pictures of 9 famous owls, whether they're characters from movies or TV or comics or corporate mascots. You're going to see 9 owls, and I'm going to give you a little clue for each one. You see 9 of them. There are 5 of them that you're going to choose. So each clue will refer to a different owl. There's no doubling up. So there are 4 red herrings in there and 5 of them that you have to find. The first one, number 1, this owl is able to use 2 attacks on each turn. So choose the owl here. So we've done rounds like this before, and people would accidentally hit submit and wouldn't have actually chosen an owl for each of them. So you are required to enter an answer to move forward on these. If you want to go back and change it later, you can. But I think people were going forward with the intent of going back to change it later and then forgetting that they had left one blank. And so just so you get as many points as you can, you have to select an answer to move forward, but you can go back and change at any point. There will be no doubling up, so you don't need to do 2 of like owl number 1. That won't be the case. All right, owl number 2. This owl seems to be affected by dyslexia in his appearances in print and film. This owl seems to be affected by dyslexia. Number 3, This owl shared a voice actor with Rabbit from the Winnie the Pooh franchise. Number 4. This owl was redesigned to look simpler and cleaner in 2013. And number 5. This owl was portrayed in film by an actor of the opposite sex. All right, so let's just see those clues one more time so you make sure you don't get mixed up. So number 4 is this owl was redesigned to look simpler and cleaner in 2013. Number 3 is this owl shared a voice actor with Rabbit from the Winnie the Pooh franchise. Number 2 was this owl seems to be affected by dyslexia in his appearances in print and film. And number 1, this owl is able to use 2 attacks on each turn. So each of those will apply to only one of those owls, and each one will apply to a unique owl. So you won't have to choose the same owl twice. Like Super Bowl, Super Bowl. Yeah, they're just going to scroll by. So yeah, hopefully the forms work well for you guys. So just one owl for each number. Owls are a fun one to do just because I think owls are very cute. Look at this little owl. Look at these little owls. This one, you probably will have to do a capture because there's a lot of pictures in it. There should be an owl themed football team. So you could have an owl team in the Super Bowl. Like if they talk about giving London a football team. I mean, that kind of makes sense for London if you don't think about it too hard. The London Owls or something. I don't know. You probably have to. I don't know. What city, if they got a football team, would owls make the most sense as a mascot? Like, I'm not a big I don't hate alliterative team names, but I don't think they necessarily always sound good. I think it's more important to have some kind of connection to the city. And I think everyone's got their answers in. So let's look through the answers. First up was this owl can use 2 attacks on each turn. That was the owlbear. So in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, an owlbear can make 2 attacks in each round of combat, once with its claws and once with its beak. Well, there we go. Yeah, so that would make sense. There's obviously Leeds United got an owl on the badge. Yeah, I guess why not stick the NFL team in Leeds? All right, then number 2. This owl seems to be affected by dyslexia in his appearance in print and film. That was Owl from Winnie the Pooh. So Winnie the Pooh's friend Owl regularly spells his name Wol, W-O-L, which may indicate dyslexia. Uh, Number three, this owl shared a voice actor with Rabbit from the Winnie the Pooh franchise. Oh, you see the misdirect that we did there? It was Archimedes from Disney's The Sword in the Stone. He was voiced by Junius Matthews, the original voice of Rabbit. Number four, this owl was redesigned to look simpler and cleaner in 2013. And there we go. So, although Duo from Duolingo, who we also showed, is notorious for his series of progressively more minimalist redesigns, he didn't receive one in 2013. That was the year of the one and only redesign of Hootie, the Hooters mascot. And number five, this owl was portrayed in film by an actor of the opposite sex. The answer was Hedwig. So although Hedwig from the Harry Potter series is canonically female, male snowy owls were used when filming the movies because they're smaller and easier for child actors to hold. So let's see how the scoreboard looks after that one. Oh, the Van Goghs have taken the lead. It's still so tight up at the top there, 21-20. They've gotten a 1 point lead there, a 2 point swing. Then the Dream behind on 17. Aloha Mate 16, Segway Chimp 15, Cormax Enterprises, So Much Snow, and Cat Flaps all tied on 12. Congrats to the Van Goghs on the late surge. The Chapstags still very much in it. 1 point between them. And these two teams really have been duking it out for that top spot all night. All right, we're moving on to round 6. Super Bowl, spelled correctly this time. No gimmicks, no tricks here. It's just 5 questions about the Super Bowl. So it was last night. Thought it's best to include something a bit topical. It's a big thing. So, question 1: which city hosted Super Bowl 50 today? Was it Miami, Florida, Los Angeles, California, Tampa, Florida, or Phoenix, Arizona? The Super Bowl usually, of course, is in somewhere that's warm in February. All right, question 2. How much did 30 seconds of ad time during yesterday's Super Bowl cost? So you're going to have to type a numerical guess here. How much did companies pay for 30 seconds of ad time during yesterday's Super Bowl? All right, next one. Language Trend Tracker's Global Language Monitor named which Super Bowl halftime inspired phrase Hollywood's top contribution to language in 2014, beating out Bootylicious and Governator. So, what was Hollywood's top contribution to language in 2004? And it was inspired by the Super Bowl, halftime. All right, question 4. Not including teams that have never played in a Super Bowl, which team has the longest currently active Super Bowl appearance drought? So there are 32 teams in the NFL. There are 4 teams that have never played in a Super Bowl. Of the teams that have played in a Super Bowl, which one has had the longest period of time since they last played in a Super Bowl? Is it the New York Jets, the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, or the Arizona Cardinals? And question 5. First airing opposite the Super Bowl in 2005, MVPs at this event have included Fumble, Bumble, and Monsieur Jacques, and players can receive penalties including unnecessary roughness, pause interference, and neutral bone infraction. So you just type what you think that event is called in that one. All right. So, so question 1, which city hosted the Super Bowl? Question 2, how much did 30 seconds of ad time cost? Question 3, two-word phrase contributed to the English language from the 2004 Super Bowl? Question 4, longest active Super Bowl appearance drought? And question 5, what is this event where players can receive penalties including unnecessary roughness, pause interference, and neutral bone infraction? This will be a good one. This is round 6, so 2 rounds left. Okay, so I would nothing final yet, but it'll be interesting to see how this one shakes out. The Leeds Owls. I do enjoy the American sports team naming conventions. Of it just all being like wacky mascots and stuff. You know, there's like there's a lot to be said for how football teams are named in England and in Europe and stuff. You know, there's tradition there, and that's nice. They used to be like wacky. Like back in the day, they were like, yeah, let's name this club Sheffield Wednesday. Like, how did that happen? But then you get the weird place where that meets is in American soccer, like the is it MSL or MLS, the Major League Soccer in America, where they just like randomly jam European like football club naming conventions into like their league. And you end up with stuff like Real Salt Lake City and stuff like that. It's really weird. Um, all right. So, question 2: points for closest by 10 million. Real Salt Lake. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, they've all got. It just makes no sense. You know, it'd be one thing if it was like they have plenty of cities with Spanish names in America. You know, so if it was like Real San Jose or something, you could kind of like, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, they don't have a royal family, but whatever. But Real Salt Lake is just funny to me. Okay, so I think we've got one team remaining not in. So if they could just hit submit, and we'll go through the answers. Okay, they're in. So let's look at the answers. All right, so first up, last night's Super Bowl was held in Tampa, Florida, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers played in and won the first ever home Super Bowl. So Super Bowl host cities are chosen years in advance. Obviously, it's a big undertaking, and this was the first time that the host stadium was also the home stadium of one of the teams playing in it. and they won. Should have been us. Should have been us back in 2017, but that's all under the bridge now. Question 2. How much did 30 seconds of ad time during yesterday's Super Bowl cost? $5.5 million. And I think we were giving you the point if you were like $500,000 on either side there. So anywhere between 5 and 6, you got the point. Oh, that explains it. I didn't know that's how they landed on Real Salt Lake. Question 3. Which Super Bowl halftime inspired phrase was Hollywood's top contribution to language in 2004? Wardrobe malfunction. It's from Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson's halftime show, where he popped out her boob. And question 4, not including teams that have never played in Super Bowl, which team has the current longest active Super Bowl appearance drought? The New York Jets have not appeared in a Super Bowl since their victory over the then Baltimore Colts in Super Bowl III back in 1969. Nice. And finally, the answer was the Puppy Bowl. So, as every year on Animal Planet, it runs like 3 hours. As long as the actual Super Bowl, they have a halftime show with like kittens. They have like different animals as cheerleaders. Sometimes I think they've had dwarf goats, chickens, rabbits, various animals as cheerleaders. It's a whole thing. So let's see how everyone did there, how that's changed the scores. Oh, wow. Van Gogh's opening up a bit of a lead there. Another two strong rounds in a row, and the Van Goghs are in the lead with 24 points. Chapstag still in second on 21. The Dreamboat's in striking distance on 20, and Aloha Mate just behind on 19. We've got Segway Chimp 18, Cormax Enterprises and So Much Snow on 14, and Cat Flaps on 13. All right, so Van Gogh's the team to beat at the moment. Chapstag's on a 3-point deficit, but we've got 2 rounds to close the gap. So, round 7. It's momentary matrimony. Oh, so yeah, some good alternative names for the Puppy Bowl, I think, received. So momentary matrimony, we're going to give you 5 celebrity marriages that didn't last very long, and you're just going to match each pair to how long they were married for. So generally, when I was looking this stuff up, most places, most like media outlets report the lengths of these marriages based, like the end date is when they separated or when they announced that they were going to get divorced, and not like when the paperwork finished being processed. So that's what we have in here. So if they decided to get divorced after a week, but it took like 6 months to get the paperwork done, it was still a 1-week marriage, for example. So let's see who we're choosing from, and so our time intervals from shortest to longest. You've got to choose between 55 hours, 6 days, 163 days, 14 months, and 2 years. And your first celebrity pair, Russell Brand and Katy Perry. All right, next one. Britney Spears and Jason Alexander, not George Costanza. Totally unrelated Jason Alexander. Although that would be pretty funny. All right, number 3, Drew Barrymore and Tom Green. Number 4. Carmen Electra and Dennis Rodman. And the last one, Avril Lavigne and Chad Kroeger. Chad Kroeger is the guy on Nickelback. Canadian royalty here. Really, it should have been them in the Canadian tuxedo in last week's red carpet round. So we've got 5 infamous pairings here. How long did each of them last? I don't know how. So I mean, I think 2 years, sure. That's just a marriage that didn't last very long. But like, when it's measured in days, how do you find time? How do you even decide that you want to get divorced that quickly? Like, it takes me like 2 weeks to get around to like doing some like random chore I need to do in the kitchen. So some of these I think are some of these more memorable than others. I think generally the shorter they get, the more the newspapers get excited by it. Also, when I was looking up people with short marriages for these, there's certain people who love to just bang out a quick marriage. Nick Cage shows up a lot. This was also not the only one of Drew Barrymore's marriages that could have ended up in this round. I guess once you do like one really short marriage, you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. I wouldn't mind doing it again. It's just kind of like going on Tinder for them at that point. Okay, I think everyone's in, so let's have a look at the answers. So I've written my answers from shortest to longest, but we'll have a look here. So Russell Brand and Katy Perry, they lasted 14 months. They actually didn't quite manage a full calendar year. They got married in like October of one year, and then the next year they lasted almost till the end of the year until I think Russell Brand texted Katy Perry that he wanted a divorce on like New Year's Eve. Couldn't quite manage the full calendar year. Then Britney Spears and Jason Alexander, that was a childhood friend apparently. They lasted 55 hours before they got that annulled. I think that was one of those drunken Vegas wedding type deals. Then Drew Barrymore and Tom Green, 163 days, just shy of half a year. And Carmen Electra and Dennis Rodman didn't quite make it a week. And Avril Lavigne and Chad Kroeger, they managed 2 years together. All right, so let's see the scoreboard after that before we head into our final round. Britney's ex-husband, which one? Kevin Federline or Jason Alexander? Okay, and the Van Goghs, 1 point in the lead. So Chapstag making a bit of a comeback there. Van Goghs on 27, Chapstags on 26, Aloha Mate on 24, and with a last-minute surge, Segway Chimp on 23. So those are our top four teams, each of whom within, like, mathematically they can win it on the final round. And then in the latter half, we've got the Dreamboats just falling out of contention at the last hurdle. Cormax Enterprises and So Much Snow still tied, 17 points each. Cat Flaps just 1 point back on 16. All right. So Jason Alexander stormed the Capitol, not the one from Seinfeld, the one that was married to Britney Spears. Yeah, our top four teams all can win. They're all within 4 points of each other. Our bottom three teams are all within 1 point of each other. It's all very close. Let's see how things go. So it's another round of general knowledge. Question one. In which country can you find Europe's largest banana plantation? Bow, 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 bow. That'd be pretty good. So is it in Portugal, Greece, Italy, or Iceland? Where can you find Europe's largest banana plantation? All right, next one. What unconventional method did Thaba Moyo, then mayor of Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, employ in order to prevent blocked sewage pipes? Did he release thousands of dung beetles into the pipes? Did he blast compressed air through the whole sewer system? Did he order a synchronized flush of all the city's toilets? Or did he ban toilet paper? Getting a lot of fun facts in the comments right now. I have to steal some of these, stick them in the lanyap. Question three. Which year of the Chinese zodiac will begin on Friday? It's the Lunar New Year. So the year of the rat, year of the ox, year of the devil, or year of the rabbit? Rabbit, 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 rabbit. All right. Next, the three most cultivated staple crops, that's rice, wheat, and corn/maize, account for what percentage of calories eaten every day? So those three plants, rice, wheat, and corn, combined account for what percentage of calories eaten by every human being in the world every day? So if you added up all the calories from every single person's daily food consumption, what percentage would be accounted for by rice, wheat, and maize? Is it about 20%, about 30%, about 40%, or about 50%? And question five. Who interrupted the funeral of American President Andrew Jackson by launching into a loud, foul-mouthed tirade? Was it his parrot, his wife, his son-in-law, or Abraham Lincoln? So who was swearing loudly during Andrew Jackson's funeral? What was that Jason Alexander doing on January 6th? Has anyone asked him? Okie dokie. So we've got like 3 teams within 2 points of each other. One team just a couple points back from that. You know what that means? We might end up with a tie break. I'm just going to make sure that we actually have a tie break prepared. Where are my backup tie breaks kept? Okay, we've got some. We've got some in the bank. All right, let's get those answers in, guys. This has been a speedy one. It's only 11:15. Oh, I've got a lot of the next week off. So, for those of you who don't know, this is not my full-time job. I also teach English. I've got a lot of the next week off. It's the Chinese New Year. So I'm looking forward to that. What should I? Maybe I should really. I could go really big on next week's quiz with the extra time. Or maybe I'll just give you a normal quiz and just lie in bed all day. Yeah, I haven't kept everyone up too late tonight. Everyone, I don't know if it's just the type of rounds we happen to have, or just everyone was like super speedy. We had a kind of normal sized field, like 8 teams. It's pretty standard. I think we're just one team left. Oh no, everyone's in. Just as I was saying it. Sorry. No, did not mean to besmirch you. Last team in. All right, let's run through the answers, and then we'll see how the scores are, if we're going to have to go to a tie break. So let's have a look. First up, Europe's largest banana plantation, surprisingly, is in Iceland. It's warmed by like geothermal heat. Then in Bulawayo, they tried to prevent blocked sewage pipes by doing a synchronized flush. So the reason being that due to water shortages, some households would go like 2 or 3 days without running any water, and just doing like water saving stuff that would cause the pipes to sit dry for like weeks at a time, and that can cause them to crack and stuff like that. So and like stuff to build up. So he wanted just a mass wave of water to just keep everything wet. Then question 3, it's the year of the ox coming up. So we're just finishing up the year of the rat, which is the first year of the 12-year cycle. We're going into the year of the ox, the second year of the cycle. Then those 3 crops combined account for about 40% of calories eaten every day. That's quite a lot, because I mean that's not even including other staple carbohydrates. I mean they do way outnumber those, but you think potatoes and cassava probably are quite a lot. And finally, it was Andrew Jackson's African grey parrot that was loudly swearing during his funeral service. It had to be taken out of the room. So let's have a look at the final table. Oh my lord, it's a tie-break scenario. So congratulations. So much snow and cat flaps. We've got a tie at the bottom and a tie at the top, 19 points each. So I don't know, maybe so much snow and cat flaps will also want to have a go at the tie break just for bragging rights. Then Then Cormax Enterprises is on 21, the Dreamboat's 24, Aloha Mate 26, Segway Chimp 27, but tied at the top, we've got the Van Goghs and Chapstags. Van Goghs they've won 2 or 3 times in the past. Chapstags, this would be their first title. So we have a bonus form for the tiebreaker teams in the chat. Jessica's posted the link there, so click on that to get that open. And I'm just going to double check what question we're doing. Yes. Yeah. So if Cat Flaps and So Much Snow also want to click on the link, and they can tie break for them if they want to. And the question is, how many people in the US are licensed to fly blimps? So kind of this, I did not plan it, but this is kind of Super Bowl adjacent. There's always a blimp filming the Super Bowl. How many people in the US are licensed to fly blimps? All right, so we've got a double tiebreak scenario here. So I'll be waiting for those 4 teams to get their answers in. So let's see how this goes. Just let me know once those guesses are in. So that's Chapstags and Van Goghs at the top. So Much Snow and Cat Flaps at the bottom. Okay. Well, we have Cat Flaps and So Much Snow in. So we already know the outcome. I don't want to give away their guesses because I don't want to influence the other one. Would you like to know who won that tiebreak? No, I'll just wait. Okay. So we're just waiting on one more team to get their answers in. I think we'll wait for all 4 to be in before we'll say everyone's guesses, and then we'll reveal what the answer is. Jessica wants to fly a blimp. She's not licensed there, so that's one of the 350 million Americans that you can eliminate. Okay, all of our teams have their guesses in. I'm going to go from the lowest guess up to the highest guess, and then I'll tell you what the answer was. So, So Much Snow guessed 137 people. No, sorry, Chapstag guessed 60 people. So Much Snow guessed 137 people. Cat Flaps guessed 1,200 people, and the Van Goghs guessed 30,000 people. The answer was 128 people. So the closest team overall. So Much Snow, well done. So Much Snow winning the tiebreak at the bottom, and that means that the Chapstags win the tiebreak at the top. So congratulations, Chapstags, this week's champions. Commiserations to the Van Goghs, just pipped at the post, and also congratulations to So Much Snow, the winner, last week's overall winner, and this week's winner of the lower down tiebreak. And well done to everyone. Thanks for playing. So much fun, and yes, always exciting when it comes down to a tiebreak. Well done, Chapstags, on your first victory. Well done, Van Goghs, came very close to return to victory. But yeah, everyone did a great job today. Well done. Thanks for coming. Thanks for playing. And I'll see you well rested next week. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.